When we think about research, we think about doing research and we think about communicating research, right? And then when we think about communicating, we think about substance, what we're saying, and then style, how we're saying it. So as we work together, I'm going to be focused more on style. I'm going to look at a little at substance, but I'm more about how you're presenting, just to give you some background. So I had a chance to look at your videos, and they were great. Thank you very much for submitting those, and they were very helpful. And I'd like to ask you, just in general now, to tell me what have been your challenges in presenting, in interviews, when you think about style, when you think about presentation skills, what have been some of your challenges?
I feel like I have a lot of great ideas, and then figuring out how to put all those great ideas into sort of a story that makes sense for the other person who isn't inside of my head is one of the things I think I struggle with a lot.
I have a lot of thoughts, and if I don't prep myself or like rehearse ahead of time, it's a jumbled mess.
I do have a lot of thoughts, but somehow when I get on stage, I get into a zone and my delivery is all the time pretty good. But I am an absolute nervous wreck. Not many people know about it when I actually present because I don't come across as being very nervous and actually quite confident when I present. But I am an absolute nervous wreck. And I think the one problem that I have sometimes when I speak is my mind is operating at a million miles per hour, and whereas my mouth is not. So my mind is already 10 concepts ahead by the time I have actually, managed to slow down and deliver the first or the second piece of content that I actually want to get across.
So if we think about your recordings, and I know it's been a minute, but I did ask you to take a minute and go back and look at them again. And we remember the rubric, the RCT rubric. Where would you guys say that you are on that rubric?
I feel like when I recorded it, I was in a developing range, but I also feel like maybe I was a little bit more nervous because I was recording it, or maybe because I think like sometimes I do it really well, but like maybe I don't. I don't know.
Yeah. No, and that's the weird thing about recordings. I mean, it's sort of that's in that moment, in that day, that hour, how you were feeling, bam, so that could go either way. Good, good, good. So just in general, what I'm hearing from you is that it's a lot of, from everybody, is the ideas are there, they're coming at you fast, there's some stage fright or some nervousness about that and what to deliver first, where it goes first. And those are the things that you're kind of working on or having challenges with when it comes to actually thinking about. And is that the case also in interviews or when you're doing like an elevator pitch, you're meeting someone, a colleague, is that also the same challenges, or what would you say?
For me, I think it depends on the colleague. If it's someone that I have to gain something from, then there is an added pressure. But if it's just me explaining to someone that I have absolutely no idea what he or she does, I find it much easier because I think the pressure is off and that allows me to just express myself a little easier. Whereas if I have to give an elevator pitch to someone who's very senior in the field, there is always a thought that runs to my mind that I don't want to make a fool of myself, right? Because you say something really, really stupid, and that can come back to haunt you, especially in the academic world.
One thing I've noticed in presentations, especially, is that I get really caught up in what I'm saying, and I worry less about whether the audience is receiving what I'm saying or if it's understandable to them.
Anytime I'm talking about myself, regardless. But with presentations that are longer, I typically write a script and I write that script in the way that I talk, where with an elevator pitch, I don't have that luxury. And so I feel like maybe the fact that I rely on this script with presentations makes those easier to do than the elevator pitch, because usually it is a situation where you're in an elevator or you're at a conference and it's this impromptu conversation. It's like, oh, what do you do? And then I'm trying to organize the script in my head quickly to come across as intelligent as I can about what it is that I do.
And know that that nervous energy is necessary, right? I mean, actors have it all the time. If we came on stage and it was like, oh, I'm cool, I'm good, you know, there would be no show, right? So we've got to have this, is there an audience? How big is the audience? You've got to have that nervous energy. Oh, I've just forgotten a total act 2. What am I going to do? But, so you've got to have that. It's good to have some of that nervous energy, but being able to control it is something that we'll talk about as well.